Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. St. Lucia continues to recognize growth in tourism arrivals in 2019. For the 5-month period of January to May, the island recorded 185,568 stay-over arrivals, 6.1% more than the same period last year, which makes this the largest number of stay-over arrivals ever recorded in the island's history.
In the first quarter of the year, increases of 24.8% and 2.2% were noted in the UK and US markets respectively, whilst arrivals from Germany increased 6% and visitors from the rest of the world 6.3%. Double-digit growth, 13.1%, was recorded for the first time this year in April, owing largely to various activities held here for Easter. The Caribbean market stood out especially for having the largest percentage, 50.5%, as well as real growth, 2,793 additional arrivals in any market. The month of May was abuzz with activities including the staging of St. Lucia Jazz in collaboration with Jazz at Lincoln Center, regional workshops, and visible consistency in airlift, especially from the Caribbean region. These all resulted in a total of 34,354 visitor arrivals, 6.4% more than the previous year. 2019, therefore, is already poised to become one of, if not the best year for visitor arrivals, as the months of January, February, April, and May have all broken the records for the largest number of arrivals ever recorded for these specific months. The summer months of June to September bring just as much promise as the St. Lucia Tourism Authority (SLTA) anticipates further records in tourism arrival with the staging of St. Lucia Carnival, Mercury Fest, and St. Lucia Roots and Soul. The SLTA is forging ahead with efforts to position the island as the experimental destination of choice for romance, adventure, dive, health and wellness, family, culinary and meetings, incentives, conferences and events, while increasing visibility, especially in the major source markets. Marlon Clovis, Hot 7 News.
There is a growing awareness worldwide of the negative ecological and aesthetic impact of improper disposal of single-use plastics. In response, the governments of the member states of the OECS sub-region have been instituting policies, programs, and legislative measures in their respective jurisdictions to address this challenge. The Ministry of European and External Affairs, with the government of the Republic of France, through its St. Lucia-based embassy to the OECS and Barbados, has provided a grant of €830,000 for a 2-year pilot project to set up and test systems for the collection and management of plastic waste from target communities in St. Lucia and to provide support to local recyclers to facilitate the export of used plastic bottles for recycling, particularly to the SIDREP plant in Martinique. The project will seek to raise awareness of the ecological issues surrounding managing and selectively sorting recyclable waste. As an OECS pilot, the project will also provide key lessons and case studies for replication in the rest of St. Lucia and the OECS. The project is being implemented by Unite Caribbean, which is a Caribbean corporation and development consulting firm with the primary objective of providing support for sustainable support and economic development of the Caribbean through regional technical cooperation. This project is being spearheaded by the UC office in St. Lucia with support from the other nodes, especially the Martinique office. As the implementing agency, they are responsible for managing the grant and ensuring efficient delivery of the objectives, including coordinating the support and collaboration of numerous local and regional partners. Thus far, the project has secured commitments of support from a range of partner agencies, including the St. Lucia Manufacturers Association, SMA, and Massey Foods from the private sector, development partners such as the Giz Cats Project, the OECS Commission and the St. Lucia National Conservation Fund SLNCF, and the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority SLSWMA. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez. The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, NCPC, continues to forge ahead with the formulation of the National Competitive Agenda, jointly funded by the Government of St. Lucia and Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility. Once completed, the Competitiveness Agenda will provide the NCPC with the framework to measure how well St. Lucia is performing as it relates to various actions, policies, and initiatives undertaken to improve the island's competitiveness. More in this report from Glenn Simon.
Smart specialization is an innovative approach which aims to bolster economic growth and overall competitiveness. by enabling a region or country to identify and develop its own competitive advantages. The SMART specialization approach is being employed in the formation of the National Competitiveness Agenda for St. Lucia. Contracted to define St. Lucia's competitiveness agenda is Infide, a consulting firm based in Spain with over 30 years of experience in providing advanced services in innovation and competitiveness. Consultant with Infide, Jaime del Castillo, noted that the approach to formulating the agenda is at two levels, first of which is the analyzing of all data and trends within the economy of St. Lucia and that of similar competing destinations. The second level involves interfacing with various stakeholders in both the public and private sectors to identify the socio-economic situation of various activities on island.
St. Lucia has an important tourist activity. A lot of the wealth of the island comes from that. But we have to promote not only tourists, maintain the competitiveness, increase the competitiveness, but to use the tourists to promote also other activities as manufacturing, agriculture, etc., to sell to the tourists and later to sell to the foreign markets where the tourists live.
Castillo was admittedly pleased with the level and quality of participation and suggestions put forward by stakeholders during the diagnostic exercises. Meanwhile, project development consultant Dr. Karen Swift of Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, the funders for this consultancy, said he was quite satisfied with the participatory nature of the engagements and the solid research which went into the analysis which led to the appropriate policy recommendations.
Right throughout, there's been a lot of positive engagement, a lot of good feedback that coincides with the analysis that the consulting firm has done, and a lot of useful input to go into further sharpen and refine the agenda, which is on target for completion by December of this year.
He added that a third and final mission is slated for October 2019, where a more refined draft of the agenda will be presented alongside the implementation plan and financing strategy.
What needs to be done, how it's going to be done, and how it's going to be paid for. That's what we're coming back to next when we return in October.
Director of the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Fiona Hinkson, said the competitiveness agenda will be vital to the work of the NCPC. The agenda is expected to have a 10-year life cycle involving short-term, medium-term and long-term activities.
We're hoping that the agencies that would be involved in the implementation of the agenda would see it as a blueprint that they can use towards improving on St. Lucia's competitiveness. Because it is an agenda that will incorporate the work of different agencies. It will also incorporate our work as the NCPC as well. So we are hoping that it can be used, and we are really hoping that in the next few years we can see improvement in our competitiveness.
Compete Caribbean continues to work collaboratively with the consulting firm Infide and the NCPC towards the targeted completion of the competitiveness agenda for St. Lucia. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News. Stay with us, we'll be right back.